So welcome. So everyone got the note about the dress code, correct?
Yep, it's award season here. Yep. Let's see. Only Bruce and Steve? Okay.
Emery? Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, see, like people, so some people got the memo.
Some people read it.
Thank
some
you.
people read emails.
Well, welcome. Thank you for coming. Welcome to pgconf.dev 2024.
We're very excited.
Great. Ellie, have you tried saying pgconf.dev 10 times fast?
Well, I actually suggested it was DevCon, PG, like DevCon, PG. I had other suggestions for what would be easier to say, but we decided the dot was the easiest to say.
That's right.
Yeah.
So is that the official way to pronounce it?
It is. It's pgconf.dev.
Cool. Well, let's get into it. So the first thing that I learned is that apparently they're spelling Ottawa differently now. It's VANCUOVER. Did I get that correct? So for those of you who don't get the reference, well, this is an event with a lot of history to it. And, well, before we get into that, first and foremost, it wouldn't be a Postgres conference without being social, right?
So this evening there is a social, the venue is right across the street. It's called Rogue, Wet Bar and something. So tonight I bought some board games. So for any of you who don't want to stand around and talk to people you don't know, there's also going to be board games that you can play. And we're trying to make it as interesting as possible for everyone. There'll be food, so you don't have to go somewhere else to eat. And we're excited, and you should talk to people you don't know.
So we call that old school social because for new school social, here are our hashtags and telegrams. And
the Telegram group chat has lots of pictures. There was a group run yesterday, and there's photos of all the runners. So that's pretty cool. Thanks to Yuri for organizing that. And so we recommend you join. And anything we forget to tell you here, we'll post there. So it's helpful for logistics.
I'm very envious of runners.
Yeah.
They seem like they're in good shape.
Well, I heard that half of them got lost, and then they all had to wait around for 40 minutes, so maybe.
Well, fortunately, it doesn't rain here, so it can't be that bad.
Yeah, it's nice and sunny all the time.
Cool. So speaking of, a little bit of history of this event. Who's been to PGCon?
Oh, a lot of you. Okay.
Who has not been to PGCon? Well, I guess.
Oh, okay. It seems like 3/4 quarter.
Yeah, but PGCon has a long history in the community. It eventually started in 2006 with a 10-year anniversary summit of the open sourcing of the Postgres project. And from there, it became an annual event where folks would gather not in Toronto, but a city nearby called Ottawa, to meet and talk about Postgres, really talking about, this event's really about the future of Postgres and building the community, looking at everything that we've done and looking at where we can go. And it was organized for many years by Dan Langille. And organizing a conference is a lot of work, even when you have a team. And Dan was ready to start evolving the event and have more people get involved and help expand it to the next phase. As part of this, we decided to rebrand PGCon to pgconf.dev, or Postgres Development Conference, or PGConf.dev, you say 10 times fast, that's the most fun. But because of that, we've been trying to look at it in a few different ways. For one, we want to move around the cities a little bit more in Canada, so we tried Vancouver because a lot of us had never been here before, and Paul Ramsey spoke very highly of Vancouver. So far, Vancouver has failed to disappoint, but maybe you could talk a little bit more about what we're doing at this event.
Yeah, so we wanted to try to make the event more inclusive and have more opportunities for engagement. One of the things that's great about PGCon is Postgres developers got together and talked about what new features we should develop and crazy ideas and things like that. But a lot of times people that already know each other talk, and if you just came to PGCon, it could be intimidating if you don't know anyone already. So we wanted to create structured opportunities for people to have a chance to meet each other and to learn about Postgres development. And not just Postgres code development, but Postgres community development. So we had the run yesterday as a sort of alternate way when you sweat with people, you get to know them. We had a student breakfast this morning because we want to encourage, more collaboration with academia and especially, the next generation of Postgres developers. We are having workshops this year, so many of you have signed up for them, and many of our community members have been generous enough to develop lots of content for those. And we're trying a lot of things. And so it's extra important that you give us feedback about whether or not these things are working, whether or not it was worth the work if you developed the content you felt like people were engaged and it was valuable to you, but if you participated, did you learn something from it? If we hadn't done it, would you have had just as good of a time, et cetera? And we're willing to try new things next year too, so if you have suggestions, that would be super helpful. Yeah, and also I guess I wanted to mention to talk to people in the hallway track, so if there's someone that comes up and you don't know them, try to tell them more about what you do and what exciting things you're about to work on in the Postgres community next year. I think everyone's super friendly in the Postgres community in my experience, so they'll be happy to include you.
If you ever want to simulate what it's like to testify in front of Congress, speak in that room. It is
Yes.
like, wow,
It's
everyone's
very
looking at you.
serious
Yeah.
room, yes.
Serious room. So, building on what Melanie said, what should we expect? Well, if we go back in time to yesterday, we put a lot of different summits around the community, forward-looking things about what we should be doing, as a community. We had a leadership and development summit where we broke out and discussed, different topics that were proposed and came back with ideas. The idea is not to solve them, but the idea is to plant seeds where we're going to talk about this all week. And that leads into what we're going to do today and tomorrow, where we're going to have more of the traditional breakout format where people are coming to talk about various things around the community. It could be something that we're hoping to include in Postgres 17, forward-looking work, community-building topics, and just a chance to share, go a little bit deeper into various aspects that we're trying to build around Postgres, which leads into Friday, the Unconference. Who's been to an Unconference before? Cool. So we're going to have some new people at this as well. An Unconference is basically unplanned, unstructured in a way. The idea is that you come to an Unconference in the beginning of the morning and you can propose a topic. And then in front of everyone in the room, you vote on topics. We use like some sort of sorting algorithm to determine which are the most popular ones. We select those and place them in a schedule, and then you go and discuss them. And the reason why we like to put the Unconference at the end is that we're building this crescendo during the week, where we start by seeing these ideas, going into them, and through that and talking to people around the hallway, you may be inspired to have a topic and have some more thoughts to bring to it. And what ideally comes out of the Unconference is what we're going to do next, what we're going to be working on going forward. And it's really a nice way to end the conference because, I know personally, I'm always very jazzed after the Unconference that, we're going to go build stuff. So it's great, this is what to expect throughout the week, and, we hope you, really enjoy, what we're going to do.
And I also wanted to mention yesterday we did the first Extension Ecosystem Summit. So in addition to Postgres developers, Postgres community organizers, bloggers, et cetera, you also will find a lot of people here that are working in the Postgres ecosystem. There is so much more to using Postgres than just the Postgres source code. And so, throughout the week, if you are using pieces of the extension ecosystem or other products in the ecosystem, there's people here you can talk to about that. And you should suggest all kinds of topics at the Unconference. So, it's the features, we're setting the agenda for the next development year, but we're also setting the agenda for the next year of community organizing and ecosystem projects. So, yeah, everyone should feel free to propose topics that they're interested in.
Yeah.
So just, pgconf.dev follows the PostgreSQL Code of Conduct. So we want to make sure that you know how to report Code of Conduct violations and what those are. So here's some resources. These links are also available at the registration desk. So if you would like to report an issue, go to the registration desk and you can ask them there how to do that.
So speaking of, pgconf.dev is organized by this Canadian nonprofit called Slonic Events Canada. For those of you who don't know, Slonic is the name of the elephant mascot that you see around Postgres. I believe that it means tiny elephant, right? Someone please correct me there. Cool, thank you. So, we created this NPO because, we're open source and we want to make sure we have a way to organize events while we're in Canada. But we want to make sure that everyone knows that this is actually an open organization, that there's open membership for a very nominal Canadian fee, and by joining, you're able to elect board members, vote in the elections, and help drive the overall governance of the organization.
And on that topic, so I realized at the beginning, Jonathan and I did not introduce ourselves. Sorry. So I'm Melanie. This is Jonathan. We helped organize this conference. There was a lot of people, or I guess 8 people involved in organizing the conference that worked really hard, but we just wanted to shine a light on Steve. Can you stand up, Steve? He worked so hard, tirelessly behind the scenes. He also agreed to my scheme to wear suits today, so I think he deserves a round of applause just for that. Thank you, Steve.
Just to tell a quick story, back in October, where we're kind of like on the precipice if this event would actually happen, Steve came to the New York City conference and effectively glared at me, being like, if we don't pull this off in like the next 2 weeks, this is not happening, and like I'm putting my foot down. And we got together, and also like we really want to give thanks to Paul Ramsey, who couldn't be here today. Paul is a local Victorian, and he was the one who really pushed for Vancouver and found this amazing space with, so far, amazing food, by the way. I'm saying that as a New Yorker. And like we're just so thrilled to be here. Like I think we're going to have a really really awesome time because of all of their efforts. It helps to work with Canadians when you're planning an event in Canada.
They know the rules.
Yep. The other thing that really helped us plan this event were our sponsors. Like there's no way we could do this without them. Why is sponsorship important? When you go to a lot of other events, when sponsors go, they're doing things. They're trying to promote what they're doing, which is what we want sponsors to do. But PGConf.dev is different because this is not necessarily the kind of normal event where you're promoting, maybe what you're selling. We're really trying to get the Postgres community together to think up like amazing ideas and go and build them. And our sponsors like really recognize this and we're willing to support it. Also because, by the way, like we bootstrapped this event. Like we were starting from zero. And they came in, they took a leap of faith on us, and they've really made it possible to bring everyone all together. So can't thank them enough. Here are our gold sponsors, AWS, Google, Microsoft, Tempo. Please give them a big round of applause like ahead of this.
And they have people here, so if you see someone with Tempo, Microsoft, AWS, or Google on their badge, tell them thank you because this would not have happened otherwise.
Yeah. As well as like our silver sponsors, their support was invaluable throughout this process, and again have made it possible. And it really is going to help guide not just this event, but going forward. So big thanks to Crunchy Data, EDB, Fujitsu, PG Analyze, Redgate, and Supabase for their support. So I'd like to take a moment to pay tribute to Simon Riggs. We unfortunately lost Simon very tragically not too long ago. And Simon really had an immeasurable impact on the Postgres community. I think a lot of people here certainly have personal stories they can talk about Simon. Even this one, I was looking through my photos, and at the New York City conference, first like Simon was a big supporter of it early on, but then he was doing like live hacking on Postgres multi-active replications. So it kind of showed a lot of it. And the reason I mention that is like Simon really had a lot of the vision that we see in many of the features that we have in Postgres today that have helped make Postgres very popular. So, we'd be remiss not to mention the impact he had, and certainly, talk to folks who knew Simon, worked with Simon, and we pay like the utmost respects to him. A different note, is Andrew Friend here?
Can he please come up to the stage now?
Oh, I'm sorry, Andres Freund.
Thank you. So we would like to also, I think some of you may know that Andres has been in the news a lot lately. He's done many interviews and is starting his career as a public personality for saving the world, I think, right? Yeah, something like that. And so we would like to reward him and recognize him for being a superhero. Robert is here to do this. We have a small, and would you like to say anything, Robert, or we didn't discuss the logistics exactly? Yes. So he will be wearing this for the rest of the day. So don't. Yeah.
This is the dress code.
Yes, that's actually So you look at the back. All right. What does it say? Hero developer. So if you want to know more details, he said that he would like to only be known for the XZ backdoor thing. So don't ask him about any Postgres things, only that. Okay, you can sit down.
Also, there is a hidden XZ backdoor somewhere at this event.
And if you
find it,
there is a reward for if you find it. And I won't tell you what it is. Maybe it's an iPad. Maybe it's just, a donut. It's not clear, but you will find out.
It's a hearty handshake, and thanks a lot.
That also might be what it is. But it might be an iPad. It's not an iPad.
Anyway, Speaking of awesome people, Melly, tell us a little bit about Dr. Seltzer.
Yeah, so we are so excited. Where is Margot here? Yes, hi. We are so excited to have Professor Margot Seltzer give our keynote today. We decided to do it at the end of the day so that everyone can have discussions about databases and storage, and then come to hear her talk about where hardware and databases collide. She is so influential and legendary in our industry, and we're so lucky to have her here. I'll talk a little bit more when I introduce her keynote about how she has influenced our industry, but we're so excited, and come with questions. She's an amazing educator as well, and is very ready to answer all of your questions and hear your bad ideas, so. Okay, so just a few logistical things. So for those of you that have dietary restrictions other than vegetarianism, anyway, there are specially labeled meals that have your name on them. So if you talk to the caterers, just ask them for that. And the meals are available out in the hallway area. Just you find anywhere to eat. There isn't a specific place, but try not to eat in this room. Any of the other rooms that don't have events in them, but in the main area, there's seating as well.
Melly, don't tell them I brought in a scone.
You did, actually. There are crumbs. We have to pay a cleaning fee if you eat in here, which we didn't budget for. So.
Uh-oh.
A few more logistical things. So temporary badges, those of you who have the index card badges, I think, the temporary badges should be available at the break. So go to the registration desk at the 10 a.m. coffee break to pick up your more real badge. Also, we are being recorded right now, and in all of the rooms except the workshops, they'll be recorded. There are mics that you can use to ask questions, but if you do that, that will be recorded. So just keep that in mind if you don't feel comfortable being recorded. For all the speakers, there is a speaker gift that the room monitor will have for you.
I heard something about these speaker gifts. Were they homemade?
They were very homemade. So Kai-Ting, my husband, and I made these for you. We hand-dyed the leather, which was a terrible idea. We thought it would be easy. We have no experience with leather working. So yes, they were made with love.
Melly, you really went all out for this event.
It was a huge mistake, so yes. And then finally, just back to the feedback topic. So there are talk surveys. Those are open. Oh, you want to go? Yeah. Those are open now. So as soon as you watch a talk, you can go on the website to the talk description and leave feedback. So please do that. The speakers really appreciate it, and it helps us to know what kind of content we should be putting on the program for next year. There's also general conference feedback, which will be, we'll send you an email at the end of the event so you can give feedback on things like the food, the social, and some of the other things I asked for feedback on. Is there another kind of feedback we were supposed to?
No, I think we're good.
Yeah, I think that's everything.
I think this is where you start playing the music that plays us off the stage.
Yeah, that seems fair. Is there anything else embarrassing? Anybody else we need to embarrass other than Andrew?
I mean, yes, but,
okay, yeah.
But I mean, how much time? We have to wrap this up, you know?
You're right. We actually are exactly almost on time with 5 minutes to spare.
Give people a few minutes in between the sessions. What a wonderful idea.
Yep.
Well, welcome. We're really excited to have you. This should be a fun-filled few days, and
that's it.
Let's do it.
Go do it. Yep. Thank you.
Yeah.